Why do you worship stones and wood? They are lifeless. And secondly, they have been destroyed so many times. If they cannot protect themselves, how can they protect you? How can they listen to your prayers? Why do you worship them at all? Have these questions been thrown at you? If so, what is the best way to understand the science behind this? Let us understand both with a practical example and a reference from our Shastra, from Bhagavad Gita. Let us understand what is the science behind it. My friends, would you like one of this? It's a 500 rupee note. Do you think this is valuable? Why so? Is it not just a piece of paper? Can I use this piece of paper to wipe my hands as a napkin? Or can I just draw something on it? Would this be a very smart thing to do? I'm sure you will agree that this is not just a piece of paper. It is a legal tender that has been authorized by the representative of the government, the RBI governor. The RBI governor has put his signature and the seal. Because of this paper has been transformed into something valuable. It has been transformed as a representative of the government. In fact, if I destroy this piece of paper, it is a criminal offense. It is a disrespect to the government. In the same way, my friends, just like an ordinary piece of paper gets transformed into a representative of the government, a piece of stone, a piece of wood can house the Lord Himself when it goes through the proper procedure as mentioned in the Shastras, the procedure known as Prana Pratishtha. Just like the RBI governor has put his authorized signature and seal on it, the devotees, the scholars, based on the authority of the Vedas, have invited the Lord to come stay into that piece of stone. The stone is now transformed into God, just as the piece of paper gets transformed as an instrument of the government. The deity is not carved or made whimsically. It is not based on someone's imagination. It is done as per the descriptions given of Krishna, Rama, Shiva in the Shastras. In contrast to that, anything that we do out of our own imagination, that is definitely not at the same level as the deity. It is just an idol. During the Ganesh Mahotsav, we see this trend very often, that Lord Ganesha is shown in cricket uniform with Dhoni, or with the latest happenings of the current affairs, with Trump, with holding a bat, riding a motorcycle. These are just imaginations, my friends, and these are idols. These do not have any scriptural validity. These are equivalent to this. This is also a piece of paper. It also looks like a currency note. This is not a real currency note. It is just imitation money. It is play money. It has no legal tender. It is not authorized by the government. Similarly, idols are those which do not have any scriptural validity, which have not gone through the Prana Pratishtha, which are just made on the imagination of the artist. These are not some things which we should be worshipping, but we should be worshipping the deity form of Rama, Krishna, as we have it installed stuck by the devotees of the Lord in our great temples like Rameshwaram, Dwarka, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Ayodhya, Kashi, Mathura, Vrindavan. We have these authorized forms of the Lord installed as deities. Again, a question might come that these deities were broken, so how can they be God? So my friends, I'll go back again to the example of the currency note. If I tear this 500 rupee note, what does it mean? Does it mean that the government has fallen? Does it mean that the RBI is no more just because I chose to tear this currency note? No, it is just an indicator of my foolishness. When I tear this currency note, I reduce my purchasing power. Nothing happens to the government. Similarly, my friends, when a deity is broken, it is nothing happens to Krishna or Rama. It's just that I have lost an opportunity to serve the Lord. My friends, it is up to us whether we see it as a stone or whether we see it as God. It depends on our consciousness, on what is our outlook to when we see the deity. And as per our outlook, the deity responds. If we consider it as a piece of stone, it will have a lifeless reaction for us as well. But like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he entered the temple of Jagannath in Puri, he was so overwhelmed with ecstasy that he said, "Oh, this is my Lord, he is staying here. Right in front of me, I could take his darshan." And he was so overwhelmed that he just collapsed there out of ecstasy. If we have that kind of feeling when we see the deity, or at least a fraction of it, the deity, the Lord, is going to reciprocate in the same manner to us. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 11, Krishna says, Ye yathamam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. All of them, as they surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. So my friends, this is the key thing. As is our outlook, as we surrender unto him, I get the reciprocation in that way. Moreover, we don't have to feel apologetic about worshipping the Lord as a deity. We do not have to feel embarrassed about it. It is a process that has been authorized by Lord Krishna himself. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verse 2, he says, Sri Bhagavan Vacha Mayaveshya Mano Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopeta Ste Me Yukta Tamamataha. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. My friends, our ancestors have gone through great sacrifices to preserve this heritage, this culture, and pass it on to us. They have given up their lives to protect the deities and the temples. They did not consider as a piece of stone. Rather, they thought, oh, the Lord came to stay with us on our invitation. It is my duty to serve the Lord, to protect the Lord. And they even gave up their lives for it. Let us continue to preserve this wonderful culture, my friends. Today, the greatest danger to this culture is our neglect. When we neglect something, that knowledge disappears. The goal of this channel is to preserve this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, not by locking it up, but by making it part of our lives. Our goal is to widely circulate, distribute Bhagavad Gita in every house so that this knowledge continues to exist. Let us benefit from this knowledge and make our lives wonderful. the donation that is collected, you get a Bhagavad Gita, but most importantly, your money will be used for the printing, publishing and propagation of this wonderful culture. Come be part of this. Get a Bhagavad Gita for yourself. If you already have it, do consider gifting it to your near and dear ones. The link is there in the description below. Hare Krishna.